A very, very good afternoon to everyone, and very warm welcome to Working Options Masterclass with NIG. As you're all joining, please may I ask that you just put yourselves on mute so we don't interfere with our amazing speakers that will join us in a moment. So very warm welcome. I'm Claire, I'm Head of Programme here at Working Options, and we're here today to help share with you, as part of our programme to support you fulfil your potential and raise your awareness, with our masterclass. We're joined with colleagues from NIG, so very warm welcome to all of you on the screen. And they are going to share some key insights into how their sector operates, raise awareness for you about the different career opportunities and the different pathways and routes into those opportunities. And they will also share with you, so I guess, key skills or qualities that they may look for if you happen to want to apply for anything that they have, whether that be entry-level roles or in particular today about specific apprenticeships that they're going to share. The session is being recorded, so if there is something today that you don't quite get or you want to recap on, then you will find the recording on our website, and we'll also send it out to you as you've registered for the call today. I would really like you to be encouraged as well to pop in any questions that you have into the chat. It's a great opportunity today to ask the experts. The people on the screen know far more than Working Options about this particular sector, so please take this unique opportunity to pick their brains. We can have questions coming in throughout the presentation, and then we'll speak with Kelly to work out, how best then to get them to the right people to get the right answers to you. So very warm welcome to NIG, and Kelly, I shall hand over first to you.
Yes, super. Thank you very much, Claire. That's great. If you don't mind turning to the first page of our presentation, that would be fantastic. So good afternoon, everybody. My name's Kelly, and I work for NIG as part of Direct Line Group, and we are delighted to be here today to give you an insight into our industry and hopefully whet the appetite for some interest in apprenticeships moving forwards. So that's the purpose for today. If you don't mind moving on, Claire, that would be fantastic. So I guess, first of all, a little bit on who are we? And we recognise that NIG might not be a name that you've heard before, but hopefully, as you look down towards the bottom right-hand side of the slide there, you'll recognise Direct Line Group. We are very prominent on adverts, on the radio, and whether it's parents or anybody that you're aware of that has sort of home and motor insurance, it may well be a name that's popped past your memory at some point. So who are we? So NIG are wholly owned subsidiary of Direct Line Group, and we've been going since 1894 to provide personal and commercial, easy for me to say, insurance throughout the UK. Now in NIG, we have a national footprint with 8 regional offices up and down the country. We've got 2 large trading centres, and we've got around about 350 employees. But actually wider than that, part of Direct Line Group has just under 11,000 employees. So we are a large organisation and employer across the UK. We are, and we're not afraid to share this, we're a really successful growing business. And we do have a strong desire to support young people in building a career in insurance. It's not something any of us at your age probably sat down and thought, I really want to get into insurance. So it inspires us now to want to inspire other people at your age to build that career in insurance. An apprenticeship programme can give you the very best start, encompassing certified and professional qualifications with hands-on experience and training and development on the job. So we think that is a great start and an alternative to other educational routes. So that's a little bit about us. We're going to just do some quick introductions around the table today. So Paul will just introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name's Paul Hanwell. I'm head of complex underwriting at NIG and across Direct Line Group, actually. I've worked here for just over 6 years, about 6.5 years, but I've worked in the insurance industry for about 25 years now. So man and boy.
Super. Thank you for that, Paul. And as I said, so my name's Kelly, Kelly Ratcliffe. My role is Head of Centralised Trading, which is essentially supporting the operations of teams that look after our national brokers. And I've been with the business just a little bit longer than Paul, actually, so coming up for 7 years. But yeah, really enjoy it.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen. I'm the operations manager for the team that we are recruiting for. Basically that means that I look after the day-to-day running of the team. So that's everything from are we achieving service, planning for the future. So that's why we're here today, leading the team, engagement and liaising with the wider NIG population. So very busy role. And I've been with NIG about 9 years now.
And hello everyone, my name's Steve Sandals. I'm one of the risk control surveyors in the team that works with Karen. I've been in insurance quite a long time, about 28 years now, but I've not long been with NIG. I joined NIG at the tail end of last year, and I'm absolutely loving it so far. I can honestly say that NIG is the best firm I've worked for, and one of the reasons I joined the team is because the team is growing, which is obviously a huge part of the apprenticeship scheme. So the reason why we're here today.
Hey everyone, my name is Lawrence Fielding. I'm one of the risk surveyor apprentices that they took on just nearly 1.5 years ago. So I'm in the position that maybe some of you guys will be in fairly soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucy Everett. I'm also a risk control surveyor apprentice. I joined at the same time as Lawrence. It's a very good team to be with and really excited to share my experiences with you all. I'm going to hand back over to Paul now.
Great. Thank you, Lucy. Let's pop over to the next slide. Thank you very much, Claire. So I guess what I wanted to cover here, we're just going to give you a bit of a whistle-stop tour around our business and then how that directly correlates into these roles and why they're so important. I mean, ultimately, people will hopefully be aware of motor insurance and home insurance, but maybe not so prevalent in terms of commercial insurance. NIG is focused upon the commercial entities. So what we look at here is anything from small shops to offices to motor garages, all the way up to shopping centres or large-scale factories, manufacturing plants, even residential properties and large-scale blocks of flats. So we're looking at those commercial businesses and how we insure those businesses from the worst that can happen. We provide the insurance to really protect them from any eventualities, such as a large-scale fire, any theft that might have happened, storm, flood, leaks, those sorts of things is ultimately the promise that we give to our clients. And usually that would come in form of a payment should anything actually happen. But the worst impact of any commercial business is actually being out of business. So it's not necessarily about putting things right, it's actually about them not being able to trade. And that's really why this role and the heart of our business really is about, and certainly my role in terms of underwriting, is looking at the protections that are in place to any of our clients and how we can help. So no business wants to be closed down, no business wants to be inoperable, and therefore actually protecting that and making sure that those protections in place really is so important. And ultimately, that's the role that we're looking at here. Risk control is about not just ensuring what people have, but how they operate. So some of the pictures you'll see on here, and hopefully you'll see some of the hazards, so especially on the middle picture here, these are things that could easily lead to large-scale losses. It's not going to take much for that pile of rubbish to set on fire. The guy on the left-hand side clearly leaning over and ultimately could injure himself. So actually preventative measures naturally helps our business because we don't want to pay out claims, but it also helps our clients keep their business moving. And that's really so important, and why this is a vital part of the role and the function that we have, not just in dealing with people's claims when the worst happened, but actually trying to make sure that it doesn't get to that stage. that's really a bit of the background and the why and how that insurance comes into place. But I guess the next stage would be to really explain, so how do we then move that one forward? So what I'm going to do now is just hand over to Karen, who will talk you through some of the program that we've got and how we bring people through some of this journey. So Karen, can I hand that over to you?
Yes, please, Paul. Thank you. Hi, so this slide here shows us a little bit more about the programme and gives you some detail about what it involves. So first of all, we're looking for 6 apprentices right across the UK. The team is a national team and we're covering from Scotland down to the South Coast. And it's a 30-month level 4 apprentice. So it involves exams, recognised industry qualifications. So there is a heavy focus on exams. We allow time for that throughout the 30-month period. And at the end, you are guaranteed a junior risk control surveyor role. So it's probably worth highlighting that this shouldn't be seen as a stopgap while you decide what to do. It is definitely a career, and we're really heavily involved in supporting you guys to get to where we need to be at the end of that 30-month period. The surveyor role is traditionally quite difficult to recruit for, and we're really passionate about what we call growing our own surveyors and giving people career opportunities. And this is one of the first steps to doing that, giving you guys all this information. As Lawrence and Lucy said before, it's our second intake. We have 5 apprentices on the go that are due to qualify summer next year, and the 6 that we're looking for now will be our second cohort starting later in 2023. So what do we look for? What are we asking for? So we're asking for a minimum of 2 GCSEs, maths and English, and then 3 A-level passes in any subject. We also need people to have a UK driving licence because it is a job where you're out on the road going to different companies, so you need to be able to drive. And we appreciate that as you start an apprentice, you might not be in that position, but we are looking for commitment sort of within the course of the apprenticeship to pass your test. And also as well, there does need to be a commitment to travel because of some of the areas you'd need to cover, and also throughout training, we would be looking for people that are able to accommodate overnight stays. And one thing to point out is there is the potential for a relocation at the end of the course, depending on where we need our surveyors being placed across the country. So it is a really good opportunity to learn, and it is a career vacancy. I am now going to hand over to Steve, one of my surveyors, who will be able to talk to you about a day in the life of the surveyor. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Hello, everyone again. Well, I wanted to try and give you a very quick overview about what an insurance surveyor actually does. I personally think it's the best job in insurance because every day brings something different. You're always in a different place, meeting different people, seeing different businesses and trades. So it's really varied. It's really interesting. No day is the same. So that's what I love about the job. We're often described as the eyes and ears of the underwriter. And underwriters, they are people in the business that decide which businesses we insure. So which businesses that we'll provide policy cover for, and they decide on the sort of nature of that cover and the price that they're going to charge, what we call the premium. We also deal through insurance brokers who present those clients' insurances to us for the decision. So yeah, we're described as the eyes and ears of the underwriter. So we're out on the road. We're looking at our policyholders, our clients, and seeing what businesses we insure and how they manage their own risk. So we visit our policyholders' premises to truly understand what they're exposed to, and we look at the different elements of their risk that their business will face. As Paul said earlier, there's fire risk, obviously things catching on fire or things being set on fire. There's what we call perils, so that's risk of wind damage, storm damage, flood damage, or damage from subsidence, which is the earth moving and buildings cracking and things like that. There's security issues, trying to protect the clients from thefts. So have they got the right alarms and locks on their premises, etc.? Are they protecting their buildings and their assets well? We also look at business continuity, so what they plan to do in the event of something going wrong. If they had a fire, how they get back up and running as quickly as they can to keep the business going. And we also look at health and safety features for the business. Are they keeping their staff safe? Are they using the right protective equipment? Are they guarding any machinery which could be dangerous for hands and fingers getting close to it? And any other liabilities that relate to them, anyone else that's going to visit their premises and could be injured. Or if they make a product, if it gets sold to the public, could that product cause an injury or cause damage? That's something else that we assess and help our clients manage as well. So we visit our clients, we look at what risks they have, and we try and help them through any improvements which we think that they need to do. And once we've done that, we come back from our meeting and we sit down and we write a survey report, which goes back to our underwriters, also to the client and to the broker, and it highlights any sort of improvements we think the client should make. And that then hopefully stops or reduces the chance of insurance claims or losses to that business, helps keep them trading, and it obviously stops us paying out any claims as well. So it positively affects our profitability as a business. As a group of people, us, the surveyors, we provide technical support to our underwriting colleagues, giving them guidance on what sort of things that clients might need in terms of security or other sort of fire protections, etc., or other guidance on machinery that might need certain controls put in place. And something we do here at NIG as well, which I think is we work with various technical bodies looking at risk controls around the marketplace, fire, security, health and safety, looking at what's coming out in technological developments, and also working with them to devise new methods going forward. So like I said, I think it's a really great job. It's very interesting, it's very varied, and I love it. I've been in insurance a long time, and this is definitely the best job I've had, and I'm happy to keep doing it for as long as I can. So I think I'm going to hand over now. I can't remember who am I handing over to. I'm sorry.
Over to me now, Steve.
Oh, sorry, Lucy.
Hey, Lawrence. Thank you. So before this apprenticeship, I was working in Waitrose, just straight out of A levels, and it was during the peak of COVID. So there wasn't many options, and I didn't want to go to uni. And I started looking around for different apprenticeships, and I came across this one, which looked like a really good opportunity. And after getting the job, I started looking into insurance more. And as a good point of the business, we got to do rotations in the different areas. So we looked at underwriting and what an underwriter does. And I spent time in the London region looking at the job role and the kind of businesses that we take on. And then we also went into SST, which is our survey support team, who help book the surveyors' surveys and the types of places we've got to see. And then we also look at claims. So what happens if there is a loss and the types of losses that we see. So it was really interesting to help focus and grow our knowledge on these different parts of the business to help towards our role. We have different surveyor buddies across the country who we go out on surveys with and help us, guide us to know more about the role and the types of things that we'll see, such as the construction of a building. It's been really good at value to our knowledge. We also have a personal mentor who we have support from and can help with different questions or queries that we have about our role or just general questions about the business. And we go on different site visits. So I've been to see so many like motor traders. I've been to Lola's Cupcake Factory, which was really interesting to see because we insure so many different things. It's different day to day. Around our insurance exams and workshops, we have a company who helps us with our training. We have a workshop every month, and it's really good because we go through the types of things that we need to know for our exams and assignments. So it's really good to help with our development and towards our role in the future. I'm going to hand over to Lawrence now.
Thanks, Lucy. So the bullet point list on the right there is just some of the trades and businesses that we will see day to day. So as you can see, there's a real sort of different sort of job in that list there. So like from most traders to potato farms, I know the last 2 weeks I've been on some random risks. But I think that's what's so brilliant about this job is that no trade is the same and no survey will be the same either. And there's so many different aspects that you need to consider when you're on a client's site. So you're not just sort of involved in the insurance world itself, you need to consider sort of health and safety aspects, sort of fire prevention measures, how they're looking after their employees. So there's so many things that we need to sort of consider on all these sites. And you also sort of need to have a basic knowledge of anywhere that you go in. So about a year and a half in now for myself, I've got random facts about all these different trades, just because you need to know a little bit of everything about it. And I think one of the pretty cool things that I seem to be doing at the moment as well is if you're in the car, say with your family or with your partner or something, I'm being that guy now that goes, surveyed that, pointing at all these different little businesses, which is, you know, just a nice little touch again, because you go to so many different little random places. And just a little bit of background for myself before I came into this role. I was actually a personal trainer, so like a whole different industry. And me and my partner wanted to get our own place, sort of keep progressing in our careers. And for myself, it was quite a tough one. As a personal trainer, you sort of just need to keep growing your business. So I wanted a job where I could see constant development and push myself to do something a little bit more. So an apprenticeship was perfect for that, because you start from somewhat at the bottom and you're working your way up, and you're surrounded by professional people that can mold you into the job role that you ultimately want. And from an area that I come from myself, very sort of working class area, and there is no insurance presence whatsoever. So when you see an opportunity come up like this, and you can work from home sometimes, and you can still learn from people all around the UK just from your computer, and go on site visits with other surveyors, it's a fantastic opportunity. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the places you go and my experience as an apprentice so far. I'm just going to pass over to Kelly for the last slide of this presentation.
Super. Thank you so much, Lawrence and Lucy. I think it's really valuable to hear from you two, as being, as you say, sort of halfway through the programme now, and probably a bit more relatable than some of us around the table. So we'll just do a quick summary around the programme, and I can see that there has been some questions coming on the chat, so I can certainly pick up the first one, and then we will facilitate the rest between us. But thank you for your interest so far. It is great to see some questions coming in. So in summary then, insurance is and absolutely can be exciting. And the roles that we are advertising for, they are a career, you know, so it takes 2.5 years to get qualified. It is a career that you will progress in, and you'll keep learning, you'll keep developing. But as Karen made the point, it really isn't a stopgap and just something whilst you decide what you may want to do in the future. Full commitment to studying throughout the apprenticeship is a must. You do get 1 study day a week, but there is an awful lot of study that you do need to do within that time, and it is important that you can manage that time and sort of make sure that you can hit your own deadlines and things like that. I would urge anybody interested to go and take a look at our website, so you can certainly find out more about the products and services that we provide at www.nig.com. And you can register any initial interest via Working Options, or indeed you can get in touch with any of us directly following today's session. We do have a QR code for today's masterclass, where we are interested in gathering your feedback. It will help us for the future, and it will also give us an indication as to whether there is any interest in kind of today's session and the apprenticeships. So whilst we've just summarised that, I'm just going to turn to the first question, which was tips on how to stand out when applying for an apprenticeship role, and do you need experience? So I think firstly that the latter one, do you need experience? No, you absolutely don't. And hopefully from what you've kind of gathered from Lawrence and Lucy, they both come from very different fields and are kind of gaining the experience as they go. But what I would say is that in order to make you stand out, you know, do your research on the company, find out, you know, if it's Direct Line Group, for example, go onto the website, find out what they do, find out what's important to them, what are the values, what are the behaviours, and what is it they're seeking to do, sort of now, short term, longer term, etc. It really does help if you have a genuine interest in the field that you're going into, because you'll be naturally curious. Ask lots of questions should you find yourself at interview stage. Just be yourself and be engaged. They would be my top tips, I think. So hopefully that answers that. And there is a question for Lawrence and Lucy. So what made you get into the insurance sector, Lawrence?
For myself, I think I touched on it a little bit in my part there. The job I was in, there was not much progression in the area I was working and stuff like that. So I had to sit down with my partner on one day, and we looked at sort of roles that I would actually ultimately enjoy doing, and where you can keep climbing and pushing yourself to do a little bit better. So it was one of them industries where you can just, you know, your work is noticed, and you can keep sort of growing within the industry. So that was one of the main things for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lawrence. And we'll just jump to the type of assignments for Lucy, if that's okay, and then we can cover off the pay, etc. So Lucy, question for you. What type of assignments do you have to do?
We have different exams. So there's multiple choice exams for some of the units that we cover, which could be like just general insurance, or there's liability, all different things that we cover. And we also have to do a 10,000 word essay or assignment on, we have 10 questions, and we just have to answer them based on a scenario that we're given using textbooks that we have to study throughout our workshops. It's a lot of reading to do and a lot of research, but it's really worth it in the end.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lucy. So just touching on the average pay. So the apprenticeship, the starting salary for the programme is £19,420. After that, it really does depend on how individuals progress, how they develop into that role. So as we said, it is a career, and there will be, you know, sort of annual pay increases that are linked to performance. But in terms of starting salary, it's £19,420. Hopefully that answers that question for you. And if I could just turn to either Paul or Karen, whoever would like to jump in first for the last question that we have, which is what are the progression opportunities like, and is it easy to move around departments?
I'm happy to take that one, Kelly. I think certainly from my experience, I've worked in multiple different departments in 3 different insurance companies. Actually, it's to be commended moving around. I think, you know, what we're looking for here is a commitment to learn a trade effectively. So actually having a trade behind you, I'm an underwriter by trade. These guys are learning to be surveyors. There's a clear crossover in terms of those skill sets. But then actually being able to understand all different parts of the business is really, really important. And that's why we have the rotations in place, as Lucy described. So we get some insight into the world of underwriting, the world of claims, but actually how that entire insurance kind of ecosystem comes together is really important. So we do encourage people to move around, obviously not on a weekly basis or monthly basis, but, you know, to take different roles and grow that skill set that you've got. So we advertise things on internal basis only, as well as external basis in terms of career movements. So yeah, I would definitely say there are always opportunities. Direct Line Group, as we said, that's our parent company. That's the company that we're part of. We're all an integral part of that. For the first 3 years that I was here, I actually worked in the personal lines division, looking after home and motor. So after 3 years, I moved internally across into the commercial division. So there's always opportunities. And I think it's actually a really, really good thing. So getting involved with an organisation that has, you know, 11,000 employees, one of the FTSE 250 companies, gives you that sort of opportunity to grow those skills and round out that development. So that would be my experience, Kelly.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. So it looks as though we've covered all questions that are in the chat, but if there are any more, please feel free. But hopefully otherwise, that's given you a very good insight into NIG, into insurance, and also into how an apprenticeship like this could be the very best thing for your career. So as we've said, please do give us feedback via the QR code. Reach out to Claire and the team at Working Options if you might be interested, and do go ahead and take a look at our website to look at any products and services. And that would be it. With that, we'll wish you a very good afternoon, and thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And just on behalf of Working Options, a great thank you absolutely for sharing a huge insight. I mean, every day's a school day, isn't it, as they say?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it absolutely has raised, if nothing else, raised curiosity. The questions coming through were great. If there are any other questions that come through now, on reflection, as you think about what's been said today by our colleagues here at NIG, then we will be sure to pass them on and get those answers back to you. And as Kelly says, follow them and pick up the link for the apprenticeship. If there's any questions specifically linked to the apprenticeships, we can get you that information as well. And just a reminder that this has been recorded, so you can go over any of the key details and check out the slides once more after the session closes. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you everyone for your time and your efforts today. It's been brilliant to hear about what goes on in a day in the life of NIG and the insurance side. And yes, like Kelly said, we wish everyone who's listening the very best of luck for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.